15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. We have a liftoff. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Channel. 4 forward, drift into the right level. 90 seconds forward.
Welcome to This Day in History. I'm Miguel, and today we are going to take a giant leap back in time to July 20th, 1969, 54 years ago, when humanity achieved one of its greatest feats yet, the moon landing.
On July 16, 1969, NASA launched the Apollo 11 spaceflight, a daring journey to land the first manned crew on the moon. NASA had sent people to space before and even landed robotic probes on the moon, but this would be their biggest accomplishment yet. It took several days through space to reach their goal. On this day, the 20th, after a few scary alarms and computer errors, the craft safely landed on the lunar surface. There were 3 astronauts present on the mission: Commander Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. Armstrong was the first to disembark and the first human in history to set foot on the moon, with Aldrin and Collins joining him later that day.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Millions of people around the world eagerly watched the broadcast, anxiously waiting to see what was the biggest achievement in human history. A time in which everyone felt united and hopeful that we could achieve what we thought was impossible just a few years ago.
Now you can see the stars and stripes on the lunar surface. Beautiful, just beautiful.
The moon landing and everything leading up to it was the culmination of years of international conflict and still affects us to this day. Let's get into that.
On October 4th, 1957, the Soviet Union successfully launched Sputnik 1, the first ever artificial satellite into space. Now, this was at the start of the Cold War, a sort of soft conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union. There wasn't any official fighting between the two. Most of the conflict surrounded economic, cultural, and technological advancement. In response, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed off on the creation of NASA, or the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, and thus began the space race. For the next decade, the two countries engaged in fierce competition to see who could gain more space superiority. During this time, many great innovations were made. Rockets and satellites, of course, but also things we use in our everyday lives like GPS, weather tracking, medical imaging, and even memory foam mattresses. After numerous advances, successes, and unfortunate tragedies on both sides, it finally happened.
The success of the Apollo 11 mission marked an important milestone in human history, and we owe a lot to the brave people who risked their lives to get us to where we are today. Thank you for watching This Day in History. Now, let's get back to the stack. Stick around.